Hello everyone, I'd like to talk to you about the wheel today. What is the wheel? And I'm going to give you a practice to work and develop this technique that we call the wheel. So the wheel in effect is using the wrist. We call it a wheel because with the wrist we make this wheel shape. So let's say we have an arpeggio. Instead of just playing with the fingers like this, we're using the wrist to transfer the weight from one finger to another without necessarily playing with the fingers like this, but actually moving the weight from one finger to another. So the work is becoming less here and more in the arm using the wrist. So I'd like to give you a little practice to practice this. What we're going to do is we're going to take these notes. I'm going to give you these notes. It's a little bit, the reason why we do this, we could just take, let's say, a C major arpeggio, but this just fits the hand really nicely. It kind of has this perfect shape. See, the longer fingers are on the black notes. So we take D in the right hand, then we have F sharp and G sharp, and then C on the other end. In the left hand, it's exactly the same. D, F sharp, G sharp, C. So if we put them together, we have D and C. Then we have our two black keys, F sharp and G sharp. There's no A sharp here. And then C up here and D down here. So this is nice because we can practice two hands at the same time since they're mirrored. So the right hand, when it's going up, the wrist is going to go down. And when the right hand goes down, the wrist comes up. And we go around the fifth finger. In the left hand, it's the opposite. When we go down, the wrist is down. And when we go up, the wrist is coming over like this. So the wrist is making a wheel like this. And if you do this with two hands, it's mirrored. So you can practice the two at the same time. You can also put it here if you want. Or just here. Now once you find these notes, start to explore. Going this way is a lot easier to understand than going this way because the weight transfers pretty naturally when the wrist is up. It's kind of like if you were going to do this. But we're just going like this. So if I exaggerate to a complete maximum here, you can see that my wrist is up. So it's easy to make the weight transfer from one finger to another. Now we're doing this just on a minute scale, the least possible. Another thing you can try, make a chord out of the notes, and then go boom. And you'll notice that you don't do this very well with the fingers. You naturally go with the wrist like this. So, what I'd like you to try is this. We're going to do a little practice to establish a connection from your arm to the keyboard that doesn't use fingers. So what we do is we repeat the notes like this, but we're really going in front with the arm. We're using this, it's coming from the tricep, pushing forward to play. This is just to establish a connection going this way. Again, it's really not this way, it's really in the front. And you're not playing with the fingers either, they're just there. You're bringing them forward. And then the next key, very slowly. And I can't stress enough that you really come in the front and then come back and then go again in the front, slide back. So you're bringing the keys in the front from the triceps here. This is establishing a connection from your arm to the keyboard. Because once you put the weight in, it has to go forward. So after you've done this practice a few times, check and see, are you moving your fingers? Are you still playing like this? And if you are, then try again. Just try to minimize the finger movement as much as possible for this exercise. And then go back to doing this. And you'll feel that you transfer the weight pretty much by pushing forward. Of course, we're not like this, like I showed in the example earlier. So the weight has to go by pushing. If I just put my pinky finger here, and now I'm pushing forward as if I'm sending myself into the front of the piano, this naturally happens. The next finger just goes there. And then if I keep going forward and a little bit this way, this is happening like this. So you can start to work on this one. This one's very easy. This one's a little harder. But it's the same concept. The weight is transferring, it's just that now the wrists are going down. So it's kind of like dragging them along the keys. Once you have these and this one, then you can start to just go around that pinky finger. And then you have your wheel. This is a great practice for the wheel. You can use it everywhere. I'm going to make another video and show you where you can use the wheel, examples of how to use the wheel. It's pretty much almost anything you play is going to be either this wheel or this kind of thing like this, rotation.